Hello everyone and welcome to Cinderful Gaming. I hope you're all doing well, I hope you're all staying safe, and most of all, I hope you're all fighting that war against the Grey. Today's video, we're going to talk Skaven, and we're going to talk SAGT South Australian Grand Tournament, and what I hope to take to the event. Now, I put up a poll the other day on the community tab on our Facebook, on our YouTube channel, and I got you all to vote on what army I should take to SAGT. I put up a bunch of options talking about certain armies that I had there that were unpainted and wanted to get a hobby project done along with them. And in the end, in a poll that included things like Luminous Realm Lords, Kharadron Overlords, Daughters of Khaine, Sylvaneth, and Skaven came out on top. And I am really excited. And so, my plan for SAGT is to take an army of Skaven to the event, and I've got a few things I want to do with this particular Skaven army list, so let's just look at some things I want to achieve with the army. Alright, and so I've got some goals with this army in mind before we even start thinking about what we're going to take to the event. And so we'll go through a list in just a minute using all these sort of things we're talking about here. But first of all, I want to paint a Skaven force for the first time in almost 8 years. Probably actually longer, probably closer to 10 years than 8, to be honest. I played Skaven back in Warhammer Fantasy, and I have never picked them up properly in Warhammer Age of Sigmar. I've never painted a Skaven army for Age of Sigmar. I've painted a single miniature for my Skaven as a test model, which was an Arch Warlock, of which I probably won't use in this army, but we'll get to that in a sec. But I want to have a fully painted Skaven army again. Skaven were my very first army in Warhammer Fantasy, Wood Elves were my first models, Skaven were my first army, and I'd love to have a fully painted force of them for Warhammer Age of Sigmar, so that is going to be a massive driving force behind the army. And it is a massive reason I'm so glad that Skaven actually won the poll. I also want to have every major clan represented in this army, and this will go into the point that I also want to have a mixed arms list as well. So I want to have an army that can play in the magic phase, play in shooting, play in combat, all of the phases of the game. I want it to be able to do everything. Now, whether or not this is, I guess, the meta, who cares? I want an army that can play the game. And like I said, I want to have every major clan represented, whether that's just with a hero or whatever. I want something in the army to have represented with a model in every single clan. So that is a big one for me. Now, running the mixed arms list I've been through, I would want to run a list as well that I would want to play against. There's no ranged mortal wounds in the army. I don't want to have a unit that does mortal wounds onto hit rolls or anything like that. Maybe excluding something like a Warpfire Thrower, which is relatively short range. I don't want long range mortal wounds. I don't like playing against them, and I don't want to include them in my own army because of that fact. So there will be no Giselles and no in the army, because I just don't personally enjoy it, and I'll try to stick away from things I don't enjoy in the army. I want to play a list that I would want to play against a game, a fun army. I don't care if I'm going to a tournament. I will play the list to the best of my ability and have fun doing it. I also want to build a narrative for my new Skaven clan. This is going to be pretty important to me. I want to build a narrative throughout the games I play with the Skaven clan. So whether it is victory or defeat, this will give me a narrative for my Skaven and all the things they're trying to achieve in the game. I will be building up some base narrative of all the characters and all the moving pieces of the army, and we'll get some narrative and all that started for the army, and we'll continuously update that and show everyone updates of that throughout the, I guess, run to the tournament, of which I will be starting to put this army together for a one-dayer coming up this week. But that is the core principles and the goals I have with this particular force. So with that said, let's go look at an army list I'm going to run, or at least let's think of the first draft of the army list once we're done. Alrighty, and so here we have the list I'm thinking of running. It's got all the things I want in it. It's got all my favourite models for Skaven. It's got every clan represented properly. And, it follows the rules of I would like to play against this list. I think this list looks like a proper army. So here we go. We've got a Gracie on Screaming Bell because what Skaven army shouldn't have this model? It is, for me, the centerpiece of every Skaven army. And I really look forward to having one in my army. So it's got the command trait Cunning, which is where I sort of steal command points. We've then got Death Frenzy for the spell on the Grey Seer. We've then got a Clawlord who's got the Mighty Warlord trait Skilled Leader, because every Clawlord can pick a Warlord trait, so I'm going to get an extra command point here on a 5+, nice. And then we've got a Plague Priest who's going to have our extra artifact and going to have the Liber Bubonicus for re-rolling the prayers, and going to have Curse as the prayer on the Plague Priest there as well. A Deathmaster will take our extra artifact, the Three Fangs, which is a cool little once per game ability. It can knock off a hero, which is pretty cool. And then a Master Molder enabling us to get a unit of Rat Ogres with one of the Rabid mutations. We then have 3 units of 20 Clan Rats. They'll be with whatever weapons I can find the models I have with. And then a unit of 20 Storm Vermin there for one of our reinforcement points, because I love the Storm Vermin models. This to me, you know, blocks of Clan Rats is like my little screens and my chaff there to go die on the enemy swords. Meanwhile, I've got a good block of Storm Vermin behind to protect my Warlord and work alongside him. 2 Rattling Guns because they are my absolute favourite Skaven models, along with 4 Rat Ogres with the Toughened Sinews mutation, giving them the extra wounds, helping them be good at controlling objectives, or at least better. I've then got a Doom Wheel and a Hell Pit rounding out the force because I love these 2 models. The Hell Pit especially is one of my all-time favourite Skaven models. Absolutely love it. And then battalion-wise, we've got a Command Entourage with Magnificent, giving us an extra artifact containing 3 of my smaller heroes, a Battle Regiment containing most of my units and the other 2 heroes, and then Hunters in the Heartlands as well on our Storm Vermin, Rat Ogres, and the Doom Wheel. Some of the more important units in the army being immune to monstrous rampages will be pretty sweet. We definitely, on those Storm Vermin, do not want command abilities turned off. We want them to be able to get the Clawlord's command ability on them. And the Rat Ogres, you want them to be able to take a command ability or so from the Master Mod or any other hero near them as well. Additional enhancement I've seen as the artifact and the Triumph we've gone for is Indomitable. Getting a free Ignore Battle Shock in Skaven is really useful. This will be great in case our Screaming Bell ever does go down, though we are only 15 points down, so it's not always guaranteed. 1985 points, 15 points down as mentioned, 2 out of 4 reinforced units and no allies. 155 wounds is pretty decent on the table, and 7 drops, so we will definitely be relying on those Clan Rats to screen out and protect our bigger pieces. Hopefully a decent little counter-punch force. This is everything I want in a Skaven list. We'll see how it goes over the weekend event coming up. You'll get to see this in action, or at least I'll do a tournament report going over how I go with this. And loads to play and loads to learn with the Skaven. Look forward to seeing how they do. What do you think of the list? Do you think it sort of meets all the criteria of what I've set? How do you think it can be improved? Obviously, keeping to those criteria with the improvements is massively important to me. And things like the Hell Pit and the Rat Ogres and Storm Vermin are massive includes for me, along with the Screaming Bell. But I'm pretty happy. Let's see how this all goes on the weekend. Well, that's the end of the video. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed it, please leave a comment below and let us know what you enjoyed about the video. And don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel and turn those bell notifications on so you don't miss a beat when we upload new stuff to the channel. Lastly, if you'd like to help support the channel in another way, you can do so either by helping support the channel on Patreon or YouTube members. This allows us to continue to make new content for the channel, exploring other game systems outside of Warhammer Age of Sigmar, like we have started to with things like Elder Scrolls: A Call to Arms and Conquest: The Last Argument of Kings and Warhammer 40,000. And it helps us just continue to make more Age of Sigmar content as well. Thank you to, though, everyone who has helped support, and we'd like to give them all a shout out to our patrons. First of all, Christian Weir, James Soren, Greenskins Gaming, AJC, Kenny Lowe, Outer and Shop First, Andrew Bowen, Nathan Fee, The Rising Ape, Cure Dynamic, Agu, Anthony B, Anton Nilsson, JJ Austrian, Average Wargamer, Domir, Mark Harvey, James Cater, and Samuel. And to our YouTube members as well, Green Roots Gaming, Kenton Young, Chris Wallace, Ronya, Vinny Locklorick, The Journey 84, David Ellsworth, Revenar, Wolfric Nick, Broken Chef, Sean Scott, and Diplomat. And a special thank you, of course, to, first of all, Lady Witchfox Art, who does all the amazing artwork for the channel you see here, and to Xmorphic, who does all the awesome background work on our Discord server, keeping that nice and running properly for us all. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Once again, stay safe, stay well, and most of all, keep fighting that war against Grey. Ciao for now.